I'm installing the Mighty Mule wireless driveway alarm. This alarm works by sensing metal, not motion. Here are the parts that come with this product. 3-piece mounting post, transmitter, sensor, receiver, and the transformer, which I'll refer to as the plug. Here's a quick demonstration on how to put this together. Assemble the mounting post by connecting both pipes together using the coupler. Next, feed the sensor cable through the mounting post, leaving about 3 inches hanging out. Then, plug the cable into the USB port on the bottom of the transmitter and attach to the mounting post. This is your basic assembly for minimal cost and effort. This setup can be installed easily by burying the sensor cable and leaving the mounting post exposed with the transmitter on top. However, I'm going to use the recommended installation by feeding the cable through an underground conduit or PVC pipe in order to better protect the cable. I chose a 1-inch Schedule 40 pipe. This particular size will connect to the mounting post, as I will demonstrate later. Next, it is very important to pick the proper location of where the sensor will be buried. This is a lane shared by our neighbor. In other words, it is like a common roadway. I only want to be notified of vehicles entering my personal property, not the vehicles using the shared driveway. Therefore, I will need to bury the sensor along my own driveway. The minimum distance from the shared roadway needs to be at least 25 feet. In fact, it is important to be clear of any fixed metal objects in that range. Using a long tape measure, I mark the 25-foot location with a flag. Next, fine-tune the location to where the sensor will be located within 24 inches from the edge of the personal driveway. The location of the transmitter can now be determined. For aesthetic purposes, I'm locating the mounting post and transmitter on the side of a whiskey barrel planter in order to better conceal it. After taking the measurements from the planter to the sensor location, I realized that I will need to add an extension to the USB sensor cable. The original one only has length of around 10 feet and I need twice that length. After purchasing and adding on the new USB extension, I wanted to make sure there was no chance of it coming unplugged. My options for securing included electrical tape, glue gun, or heat shrink tubing. I decided to go with the heat shrink tubing. The size was not stated on the multi-pack, so I simply tried on a couple for size until I had a fit. By connecting the cables, sliding on the shrink tube, and heating with a lighter, the connection was secured within the tubing. Next, I had to come up with a way to connect the mounting post to a PVC conduit. Unfortunately, the included mounting post had an uncommon diameter, so finding a fitting was impossible. I did, however, find that the mounting post fit inside of a 1-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe perfectly. It also fit a 1-inch Schedule 40 gray conduit, which I will use for my exposed mounting post. Lay the PVC links in the location they will be buried. Secure them together using a coupler and PVC cement. The sensor cable can now be pulled through the pipe. I'm using a fish tape, but a wire or string can also be used. Load the transmitter end of the pipe with the fish tape until it comes out the sensor end. Secure the sensor cable to the fish tape and pull it through. Leave enough cable out to accommodate the height of the future mounting post. Position the sensor parallel to the driveway and dig a hole approximately 1 foot long and 1 foot deep. Lay the sensor in the hole and return to the other end to connect the transmitter for testing. Feed the cable through a temporary mounting post and connect to the transmitter. Next, determine the location of the receiver in the house and plug it in the following manner. Note the position of the code switches on the back. These will need to be matched to the transmitter in order to communicate. In its final location, the transmitter should now be loaded with 2 AA batteries. On the back side, make sure the code switches match the code on the receiver in the house. There is also a sensitivity dial that can vary the sensing range from 3 to 12-foot radius from the sensor. Return the cover and test the function before going any further. One person will drive down the shared driveway while the other person mans the receiver. There should be no alarm when driving past the private driveway. Next, it will be tested by turning into the private driveway. This should sound the alarm. Once satisfied with its function, dig a 6 to 12-inch deep trench to bury the conduit. Remove the temporary mounting post and glue in a 90-degree elbow fitting. Measure for the preferred height of the transmitter mounting post and cut to length. This should be cut from the 1-inch Schedule 40 gray conduit. Now take one of the original mounting post pieces that came with the kit and cut off a 3 to 4 inch segment. This will be the transition piece that connects the transmitter to the 1-inch conduit. Feed the cable through the 1-inch conduit and glue into the elbow using PVC cement. Next, thread the cable through the 4-inch transition piece. Connect it to the transmitter's USB port and dry fit it to the top of the transition piece. Then glue and insert the other end into the 1-inch conduit. I then used a conduit strap to secure the mounting post to the planter with 1.5-inch deck screws. The next step is totally optional, but I felt it somewhat necessary to plug the pipe on the sensor end using outdoor caulking. This will hopefully keep the moisture from entering. Finally, return the soil to the trench, covering the PVC pipe and the sensor. The alarm is now ready to use.